With the recent increase in gas prices, vehicles like the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid are starting to make a lot more sense. But what if the regular Corolla Cross Hybrid looks too plain for you and you want something that looks more aggressive? Then you buy the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid GRS. So this sells for 1,775,000 pesos, and it looks a lot more aggressive than your regular Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid. Is it worth your money? Let's find out. Now, you probably know what a hybrid is already, but I'll just briefly explain it to those who don't. So basically, a hybrid is powered by both a gasoline engine and an electric motor. Now, a lot of people have misconceptions about hybrids, including myself. So in this video, we'll try to address some of those misconceptions. Now, I have to commend Toyota for the changes that they made here. Unlike other local GRS models, this doesn't look like a regular Corolla Cross with a couple of accessories slapped on. It actually looks like a full facelift. Aside from the headlamps, almost everything here has been changed. You got a new grille, you got a new front fascia. Overall, the entire front end of the car looks more rugged, more masculine. The grille reminds me of the grille of the Hilux. With its angular shape and its gloss black finish, it gives the car a more menacing look. The entire lower part of the bumper reminds me of the Fortuner. This section right here juts out, giving the car a more prominent jawline. You got a faux skid plate over here. You got LED fog lamps over here. The headlights are still the same. They're still LED projector headlamps, but you don't get the blue accents in them anymore. You also don't get the blue accents on the logo. The GRS gets a blacked out roof. You also get claddings on the side which make the car look more rugged. Like the regular Corolla Cross Hybrid, the GRS also gets 18-inch wheels, but they have a more aggressive design with a two-tone color scheme. They're wrapped in 225 50 series Michelin tires. Also, one more thing that's different on the GRS is that it gets sport-tuned shock absorbers, which supposedly improve the handling of the car. So here at the back, the GRS gets smoked LED tail lamps. You get this GR badge over here, and it also gets this faux skid plate for a more rugged look. Now, one major change here is that the Corolla Cross Hybrid GRS now comes with a power liftgate. You don't get that on the regular Corolla Cross Hybrid. So in here, you get about this much cargo space, which is exactly the same space as the regular Corolla Cross Hybrid. It looks like you can fit 2 luggage bags and a couple of smaller bags. You get a tonneau cover for covering your valuables. If you fold the second row seats, you get this much cargo space. Now, unfortunately, you don't get a flat loading surface here. On the inside, the GRS looks the same as the regular hybrid, except that you get a GR badge on the start-stop button and also on the headrests. It looks simple, maybe a bit dated, but it doesn't look cheap. You get soft touch materials on the dashboard, on the door cards. I'm not a fan of the infotainment screen, but it's a huge improvement over Toyota's past models. Here at the back, space is quite adequate. The legroom is okay. I'm seated behind myself. Headroom is quite decent. I have about 4 inches of headroom. Down here you get 2 air vents. You get 2 USB ports. You get a foldable leather armrest with 2 cup holders. You also get cup holders on the door cards. The center tunnel is very low. By the way, the hybrid battery of the Corolla Cross Hybrid is actually underneath the seat. And down here you'll see some air vents for cooling the battery. The Corolla Cross is based on the Corolla Altis, and looking here in the engine bay, you can clearly see the signs that it's based on a sedan. Like this over here is the frame for the unibody chassis, and as you can see, the fender sits a bit higher, and you have this spacer over here. So you can see how the body was raised on top of the actual unibody chassis. So the engine is the same engine as the regular Altis. This is a 1.8 liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated engine that puts out 120 horsepower and 141 Newton meters of torque. This is coupled to a hybrid system. So in addition to the engine, you also have an electric motor. Your batteries are underneath the rear seats, and everything is coupled to a CVT transmission. So let's step inside and let's talk more about this hybrid system. Okay, so let's start the car. Now, as you can see, or as you could hear, there was no starter motor and you can't hear the engine. And that's because we're currently running under battery power. Okay, so when the battery goes below a certain level, the engine automatically starts. And right now the engine's running. You can see it right here. The engine is charging the battery. The battery charges in two ways. When you're idling like this, the engine recharges the battery. When you apply the brakes while you're moving, that also recharges the battery. Now, one common misconception that people have on hybrid vehicles is that you can use them in pure electric mode. In the case of the Corolla Cross Hybrid, you can, but only for about 3 to 4 kilometers and only at a speed of around 40 kph. So it's not really usable as a pure electric vehicle in that sense. The purpose of the electric motor really is to aid the engine. It's not supposed to power the car on its own for any extended period of time. So if you're thinking about getting a hybrid or a PHEV, that's a major consideration. Plug-in hybrids tend to have bigger batteries and longer ranges, while pure hybrids have smaller batteries and have very limited ranges. So in the case of the Corolla Cross Hybrid, once the battery power goes below 80%, the engine automatically turns on. You have an EV mode button over here. You can only enable that if your battery is sufficiently charged. Over here you have P, R, and D, B, and B is for engine braking. Let's say you're going downhill, you can put it in B, and the engine will automatically apply engine braking, and that will also help charge the battery. Yeah, so right now the engine is off again. When I put it in drive, the engine will not automatically turn on. Even in reverse, it will only turn on once the battery goes below a certain level. Yeah, so that's your hybrid system. Now, for a lot of Filipinos, this is very new technology, and I can understand why there would be some apprehension. But to help alleviate your fears, Toyota offers 10 years of warranty for the battery. For the rest of the car, you get your standard 3 years of warranty. The Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid GRS comes with Toyota's Safety Sense. So you get adaptive cruise control, you get lane departure warning, automatic braking, you do get a reverse camera, and you get active guidelines. Oh, by the way, you don't get a manual handbrake, you don't get an electronic parking brake. Instead you get a foot brake over here. Engine off. The Corolla Cross Hybrid GRS sells for 1,775,000 pesos. It's 109,000 pesos more expensive than the regular Corolla Cross Hybrid. And for that additional money, you get a power liftgate, you get some GRS badging, and you get a very distinct looking front end. Now, is it worth the extra money? You don't get a lot of extra features, but if you like how it looks, I think this might be the right vehicle for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.